chosen one. Listen carefully. The atmosphere around you has been shifting. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your spirit already feels the tremor. Something in the unseen realm is moving. Heaven is stirring, and your name is echoing through the corridors of eternity. You were not led to this moment by accident. You were summoned by divine intention. December 11, a date that heaven itself has circled, is not just another day on the calendar. It is a threshold, a prophetic line drawn between what was and what shall be. For too long, you've carried pain that no one understood. Silent battles have been fought in the corners of your soul. You have questioned why life had to break you before it blessed you, why you felt buried when others seemed to bloom. Yet, in that darkness, heaven was preparing a seed. God was not ignoring you, He was developing you. The soil of sorrow has been cultivating your calling. What has been pressing against you was never meant to destroy you, it was sent to unlock you. Listen, this is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You are hearing these words because the heavens are aligning to announce your release. You are standing at the edge of fulfillment. The pain that once tried to silence you is now prophesying your rebirth. Do not run from the shaking, because the shaking is the sound of chains breaking. The Spirit of God is saying, I am doing a new thing in you, and the weight you have felt is about to lift. You have been sensing it in your spirit, relationships changing, desires shifting, restlessness rising. That is not confusion, it is preparation. Heaven is repositioning you for a new season of authority. The opposition was confirmation of your anointing. Darkness does not waste its weapons on the unthreatening. You have been targeted because you are chosen. The pain you've endured has become your proof of selection. Every tear was a training ground. Every rejection was divine redirection. Every delay was heaven's way of ensuring your timing matched God's perfect calendar. And now, that calendar points toward December 11. Heaven whispers that the storm you've endured is reaching its conclusion. The suffering, the unanswered prayers, the long nights of wondering when they are all converging into one sacred moment of release. The atmosphere of your life is about to change. The heavens have recorded this day as a point of reversal. Feel this truth in your spirit. The shaking is not punishment, it is prophecy. The restlessness inside you is a sign that old cycles are closing. You have outgrown the place of your pain. The version of you that survived the past season will not be the same one that walks through this new door. You are being reintroduced to your divine identity. The label of broken is being removed. The crown of beloved is being placed upon your head. Do not allow fear to speak louder than faith. The enemy wants you to believe that what you see now is permanent. But heaven declares otherwise. The winds of change have already begun to blow. There is a holy urgency in the spirit, a countdown that cannot be stopped. Even as you read these words, angels are being dispatched, aligning circumstances to bring you into divine fulfillment. Beloved, lift your head. Your weariness does not define you, your endurance does. Every hidden season was preparing your public victory. You may have walked through fire, but the flames did not consume you, they refined you. The gold within you is about to shine. The oil of anointing that was produced through crushing will soon overflow. It was spoken in the sacred writings, and today it is being breathed over your life once more. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19, Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? You are standing on the threshold of that new thing. Heaven is not asking if you are ready, it is declaring that you are. Every delay has expired. Every closed door that once confused you is now swinging open with divine precision. The time of mourning is giving way to the hour of manifestation. So pause now. Chosen one, breathe. Feel the weight begin to lift. This is your confirmation that heaven has not forgotten your name. The countdown has already begun. When December 11 arrives, you will look back and realize that this moment, this very message, was the turning point. If this word bears witness to your spirit, respond in faith. Like, share, and let your voice be counted among the remnant who choose to believe that divine timing is unfolding right now. Comment 1111 below as a prophetic act, a symbol of your agreement with heaven's alignment. Your obedience in this small act declares, I am ready for my new beginning. You have carried so much. Chosen one, the world saw your smile, but heaven saw your scars. The people around you noticed your strength, but only God noticed your exhaustion. You've been holding up worlds that others broke, carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours. Every quiet tear that fell on your pillow became a note in heaven's symphony, a sound of endurance, a melody of faith that never died. You thought your prayers disappeared into silence, but the silence was sacred. It was not absence, it was absorption. Heaven was collecting your words, bottling your tears, writing them into your story of redemption. Every sigh of weariness has been recorded. Not one tear has fallen unnoticed. You may have felt abandoned, but in reality, you were being hidden. You were being preserved for the moment when pain would no longer define you, but refine you. You see, there is a sacred mystery in pain. Pain does not arrive to punish, it arrives to position. The ache you have carried was shaping the weight of glory within you. The delay was not denial, it was divine strategy. You were being prepared to carry something greater, something that cannot be given to the untested. Heaven trusts those who have endured without losing faith. You have proven trustworthy through your tears. Remember the nights you whispered, "Why, God?" The answer has been unfolding quietly through time because the calling on your life required depth. Shallow roots cannot hold eternal fruit. Every heartbreak deepened your foundation. Every unanswered prayer dug wells within you that would later overflow with wisdom and compassion. You have been being stretched, not for suffering's sake, but for capacity's sake. The Spirit whispers now, you are not forgotten. The season of heaviness is nearing its end. The weight that once crushed you is about to turn into the wings that lift you. The very pain that seemed to suffocate your spirit will soon fuel your purpose. You are being moved from survival to significance. The world called it heartbreak. Heaven called it preparation. The world said you failed. Heaven said you were refined. The world said you lost everything. Heaven said you were being set apart. You are entering a time when what broke you will begin to bless you. The cracks in your life are about to reveal divine light. Many look for miracles without realizing that they themselves are miracles in motion. You, chosen one, are walking proof that endurance produces promise. Even when you were tired, you kept believing. Even when you were misunderstood, you kept loving. Even when everything screamed quit, your spirit whispered, "Still, I trust you." That whisper was worship, and worship moves heaven. You are not defined by what you lost. You are defined by what you refused to let go of your faith. Heaven counts not the number of your victories, but the number of times you chose to stand again. The beauty of your story is that you never needed to be perfect. You only needed to stay available. God is not looking for flawless vessels. He is looking for faithful ones. And your faithfulness, even in silence, has been shouting louder than you realize. You have cried in secret, but you will rejoice in public. What was taken from you will return multiplied. What was delayed will come in acceleration. The years that seemed wasted will produce more fruit than you thought possible. Every not yet from heaven was really a prepare yourself. There are unseen hands holding you together right now. The same God who allowed the breaking is the God who will bring the blessing. Nothing was lost without purpose. Nothing was endured without meaning. Your pain has not been wasted, it has been invested. Now, as you exhale, release the guilt of being tired. Release the shame of not having it all together. Heaven never required perfection, it required surrender. Let go of the need to understand everything. Your healing will not come through explanation, it will come through revelation. The revelation that you were never carrying this weight alone. Heaven whispers your name in this very hour, affirming that the scales are tipping in your favor. Every act of faith, every step taken in pain, every moment you refuse to give up, heaven has seen it all. You have been found faithful. The ancient writings declare a truth that wraps around your journey like light around a wounded heart. As we are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 126, verse 5, those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Your tears were not wasted. They were seeds, holy, sacred seeds planted in the soil of faith. And just as the farmer must wait for rain, you too have been waiting. But the clouds are gathering now. The rain is coming. The harvest of joy is near. Beloved, rest in that promise. Rest knowing that nothing you endured was for nothing. The pain was the passageway. The weight you've been carrying was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you into someone heaven could trust with glory. Your season of carrying is ending. Your season of reaping is about to begin. Chosen one, the fire you have walked through was not meant to consume you, it was meant to confirm you. You were marked by fire, not by failure. What others saw as your breaking point was actually your birthing point. The seasons that scorched you only revealed what could not be destroyed within you. You have walked through things that would have ended others. Yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still chosen. There is a holy mystery hidden in suffering, the more intense the flame, the purer the gold. Heaven does not refine the ordinary, it refines the precious. You have been through heat because you carry heavenly material. The furnace of affliction was not to burn you out, but to burn away what was never meant to follow you into your next season. The ashes of your past are not symbols of defeat, they are evidence of transformation. The Spirit whispers, "Do not curse the fire that purified you. You asked God to use you, and He answered by refining you. Every betrayal, every disappointment, every closed door was fire, sent to reveal who you really are. When everything else melted away, the truth remained. You are made of divine substance. That is why you could not quit. That is why you could not blend in. The flame exposed your calling. You were never meant to live comfortably in conformity. You were meant to burn with holy purpose. That burning you feel inside the restlessness. the desire to rise again. The hunger for more, it's not frustration, it's ignition. Heaven has lit a fire under your destiny. The embers of your pain are being transformed into the blaze of your anointing. Many have misjudged your silence, assuming your stillness was weakness. But in truth, you were in the forge of the Almighty. He was shaping you, not showcasing you. He was strengthening your resolve, not silencing your voice. Every flame that touched you was filtered by His hand. Nothing reached you without purpose. The enemy thought the fire would destroy you, but God used it to design you. Do you remember those nights you felt the heat of adversity pressing so hard you could barely breathe? Even then, God was beside you in the flames. He never left. Just as He stood with the 3 in Babylon's furnace, He stood with you in yours. That's why you came out not smelling like smoke. That's why you didn't lose your mind. That's why, despite everything, you still have a spark in your spirit. Now, heaven is declaring that the testing season is nearing its end. The same fire that once hurt you will soon announce your glory. Those who once doubted your survival will witness your revival. The flames have refined your courage, and that courage will now lead you into divine elevation. The Spirit of God is saying, your proving season is over. Step forward as the purified one. As the prophet wrote in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 2, when you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. That promise is not metaphor, it is manifestation. The fire may surround you, but it will never consume you, because you belong to the one who commands the elements, because your destiny was forged in heaven before it was ever challenged on earth. And now, as the flames settle and the smoke clears, you begin to see who you have become. You are not the same. The timid version of you has been replaced by a bold vessel of purpose. The fear that once paralyzed you has been burned away. You no longer walk in insecurity, for the fire has revealed your authority. Chosen one, this is not the end, it is the unveiling. Your scars are not marks of shame, they are medals of survival. Every wound has become a window through which heaven's light now shines. You are stepping into a chapter where your story itself becomes a testimony. Others will look at you and see evidence that God still restores, that He still redeems, that He still walks with His chosen through the flames. And now, a divine invitation rises from your spirit. It is simple yet powerful, a declaration that sets heaven in motion. Type these words as your sign of agreement. I'm still here. Say it. Write it. Declare it. Let those words become your banner. I'm still here means the fire didn't win. It means the storm didn't swallow you. It means every attempt to silence you failed. It means your purpose is still alive. When you comment or whisper those words, you are not just repeating a phrase, you are releasing a decree into the atmosphere. You are announcing that your faith survived the furnace, and your destiny is now ready to be revealed. The heavens respond to declarations born out of endurance. When you say, I'm still here, all of creation hears the echo of resurrection. You survived the testing. You overcame the flames. Now, step forward into your promise with the boldness of one who has been through the fire and come out purified. There are moments in human history when heaven leans close, when divine timing touches earthly reality. December 11 is one of those moments. It is not a date of coincidence, it is a date of convergence. Every delay, every detour, Every disappointment has been orchestrated to align with what heaven has prepared to release. You may have thought the waiting was wasted time, but it was the silent countdown to divine fulfillment. Beloved chosen one, the heavens move by appointed seasons. God is not governed by the calendar of man, but by the rhythm of eternity. When he marks a day, that day becomes sacred. And now, that mark is upon December 11. You have been feeling the tension, the quiet restlessness that tells you something unseen is about to unfold. You are right. The clock of heaven is about to strike. Everything in your life that seemed delayed has actually been in divine holding. Every unanswered prayer has been waiting for its appointed release. God does not rush, he perfects. He times every miracle so that no part of his promise can be stolen by premature exposure. What seemed like stillness was actually strategy. The divine hand has been working behind the veil, adjusting, aligning, and preparing. Look back for a moment. Think of how many times things almost happened, but then slipped away. Each near miss was not rejection, it was redirection. The doors that closed did so to protect your timing. The relationships that ended did so to free your destiny. The opportunities that vanished were never meant to carry the weight of your purpose. You were not being punished, you were being positioned. This is why you felt suspended between seasons. Heaven was waiting for alignment for the spiritual climate to match the magnitude of your calling. There are divine intersections where obedience meets opportunity. And when those collide, breakthrough is inevitable. December 11 is such an intersection. It is the day when heaven's timeline and your earthly journey meet in perfect harmony. You will notice signs as the date approaches, peace returning where there was confusion, small confirmations in ordinary moments, dreams that feel too vivid to dismiss. These are not random, they are prophetic indicators. The Spirit is whispering, prepare yourself, not because disaster is coming, but because deliverance is near. The waiting you've endured has not been passive, it has been productive. God has been strengthening your discernment, maturing your spirit, and teaching you to recognize his voice beyond the noise. You have learned to trust not in outcomes, but in his presence. That is the real preparation. Miracles can come in a moment, but maturity is forged in the waiting. You have developed the kind of faith that can hold a promise without breaking under its weight, as was spoken in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, it will surely come, it will not delay. That is what your spirit has been sensing. The appointed time is here. What once looked like delay was divine synchronization. Heaven has not forgotten its word concerning you. The promise has not expired, it has matured. You are about to step into what was spoken long ago. Beloved, when the heavens open on December 11, you will understand why every previous door had to close. You will see how the fragments of your past form a perfect pattern of purpose. The confusion will make sense in hindsight. God never wastes time, he redeems it. What was lost in waiting will be restored in acceleration. Do not fear what you cannot predict. The unknown is not your enemy. It is the womb of miracles. When the divine moment comes, it will not arrive with chaos, but with clarity. You will simply know this is it. Your spirit will recognize it before your mind understands it. That's how heaven works. It moves through knowing, not guessing. In that moment, the weight of the past will fall away. The endless questioning will cease. You will not need to strive or force what is already appointed. All you will have to do is step into alignment, say yes to what heaven has already prepared. December 11 will not be the day everything begins. It will be the day everything makes sense. The years of pressure, the hidden seasons of prayer, the tears, the stretching, all of it will converge into a single revelation that God never forgot you. He was writing your story in perfect rhythm with eternity. So, prepare your heart, rest in anticipation. Let hope rise again, not the fragile hope that depends on outcomes, but the steady hope anchored in divine faithfulness. The countdown is not a warning, it is an invitation. Heaven's calendar is turning, and your name is written in this new chapter. Chosen one. Before every great unveiling, there comes a testing that feels like a storm. It is not the storm that defines you, it is your response within it. You are being refined not in still waters, but in waves. The wind that once frightened you has been carrying you toward destiny all along. God does not allow the storm to destroy His chosen. He allows it to distinguish them. There has been a purpose in the chaos. The thunder that rattled your soul was never meant to crush you. It was meant to awaken you. The lightning that split your skies revealed what was hidden. The rain that drenched you washed away what could not remain. The storm was not your ending, it was your proving ground. Heaven has been observing your endurance, your quiet faith when nothing made sense. And now, as the clouds begin to part, your faith stands like a lighthouse, strong, unwavering, visible even through the mist. You have not drowned, you have been baptized into greater purpose. The flood that once threatened your life has carried you closer to promise. You see, storms are heaven's sculptors. They shape us into vessels that can hold more light. Without pressure, the diamond stays buried. Without the storm, the seed never breaks open. You have endured both, and heaven calls it beautiful. Every gust of wind, every drop of rain, every dark night has carved resilience into your spirit. Remember this sacred assurance as it is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 25. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew, yet it did not fall. That verse is the testimony of your life. You have been shaken, but you did not fall. You have been tested, but you did not break. That strength is not your own, it is the evidence of divine presence. Now, as you step into what lies ahead, let your heart be soft, not hardened by what you have faced. Soft soil absorbs rain, a soft heart absorbs grace. Your softness is not weakness, it is sacred receptivity. It means you can feel the whisper of heaven again. The storm trained your ears to discern between noise and the divine voice. And yet, even as your skies clear, remember this message is not meant to be kept in silence. The light that was rekindled within you was never meant to be hidden under a bowl. When you share what God has done in you, you become a spark in someone else's darkness. Let your testimony ripple outward, like raindrops in still water. When you click like, when you share this message, when you subscribe to stay connected, you are not merely engaging with words, you are joining a movement of light bearers. You are helping this flame reach souls still trapped in storm clouds, searching for direction. And if this message has truly spoken to your spirit, consider watering the soil that feeds it. Every act of giving, whether it is a kind word, a prayer, or a donation, is a seed sown into the field of faith. Some may give coins, others time, others encouragement, but every seed sustains the mission of awakening, like rivers feeding a garden. Your support allows this message to flow further, nourishing hearts across nations. Do it not out of obligation, but out of resonance. Let your heart guide your generosity. When you give, whether small or great, it is like throwing another log onto the fire of hope that warms thousands of cold souls. It keeps the flame alive, expanding, unstoppable. Beloved, this is not a ministry of mere words, it is a lifeline, a divine echo traveling through the noise of the world. And you are a vital part of that echo. When you engage, when you share, when you give, you are saying, let this message find another chosen one who is still in the storm. Remember the story of the lighthouse. It shines not for itself, but for those lost at sea. You are that light now. And as you give, whether through your time, your attention, or your generosity, you help the beam stretch farther, reaching hearts that have forgotten what dawn looks like. So, as the storm fades and your new beginning rises, carry this light with reverence. You are both the survivor and the signal, the rescued and the rescuer. Heaven is smiling upon your endurance, but also upon your willingness to share the light you found. When you give, share, or simply keep the flame alive in prayer, you are not helping a message, you are helping souls find their way home. Let your light join this divine constellation, guiding others through the night toward the dawn that is already rising for you. You did not just survive the storm. Beloved, you were reborn through it. And now, heaven invites you to pass the fire forward. There are moments, chosen one, when heaven itself seems to stand still. The air thickens, time slows, and something sacred hovers unseen. You may not realize it, but you are in one of those moments now. The angels who have been circling your life through battles and breakthroughs have paused. They are waiting not because God has forgotten you, but because heaven refuses to move forward without your yes. It is written in the heavenly archives that certain shifts require your agreement. Divine power is ready, but it waits for human permission. Heaven never forces what love invites. Right now, that invitation rests upon your spirit. You can feel it, an internal stirring that words cannot name. It is not anxiety, it is activation. The angels who once fought for you in silence now stand by, holding the scroll of your next chapter, waiting for your surrender. You see, divine order moves through consent. Even the greatest miracles in Scripture began with human obedience. When Mary said, "Be it unto me," eternity entered her womb. When Moses lifted his staff, the sea obeyed. When Peter stepped from the boat, water became solid beneath his feet. Heaven always waits for a yes, whispered through trembling faith. And now, heaven waits for yours. You have prayed for change, cried for direction, pleaded for breakthrough, but have you given God permission to rewrite your story His way? The angels are silent because your next step is not theirs to take. It is yours. They will not move until you move, because heaven honors your freedom even more than your frustration. Do not mistake this stillness for distance. The quiet does not mean abandonment, it means alignment. When heaven pauses, it is not to punish, it is to position. You are being placed at a divine intersection where destiny requires your decision. That is why the days feel heavy, why your spirit feels restless, why even small choices suddenly seem significant. The weight of heaven's next move rests upon your yes. And hear this, your obedience will not only shift your life, it will ripple through generations. You have no idea how many futures depend on your surrender. When you say yes to God, entire bloodlines are healed, curses are broken, legacies are rewritten. This is not small, it is eternal. Look deeper. Chosen one, can you feel it? Heaven's attention on you is not judgment, it is anticipation. The angels are poised, holding what looks like a door made of light. Behind it lies peace, provision, purpose, and power. But that door will not swing open until your heart whispers, I trust you. Lord, the stillness is sacred. It is the moment before dawn, the breath before breakthrough. Heaven's messengers stand like soldiers at attention, their wings folded, their eyes fixed upon your spirit. They are waiting to release the miracle that bears your name. Let this ancient truth wash over you, as it is spoken in the letter to the Hebrews. Chapter 1, verse 14. Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? They are not distant beings, they are divine assistants, assigned to the chosen. They do not move by emotion, they move by command. And the command comes when your obedience is released. You have been through enough wilderness to know that disobedience delays destiny. But today, grace stands before you, offering a new start. The hesitation that once hindered you is melting away. Fear has lost its grip. The voice of doubt grows weaker as your faith grows louder. The question is no longer, can God move? The question is, will you allow Him to take a deep breath and let surrender settle into your bones? The angels standing near you now are ready to carry instructions from heaven's throne straight into your situation. The finances that seemed frozen, the relationships that seemed irreparable, the dreams that seemed forgotten, they are all waiting for your consent to be resurrected. Say yes. Whisper it if you must. Write it if you cannot speak it. Heaven is waiting for that one act of faith. When you say yes, the pause will end, and motion will begin. The silence will break, and sound will return the sound of answered prayer. And when you do, seal it with a prophetic sign. Comment 888 below. Not as a ritual, but as revelation. 8 is the number of new beginnings, and 888 represents divine alignment, completion, and overflow. By typing that number, you are declaring, I agree with heaven's timing. I release control and step into divine movement. It is more than digits on a screen. It is a covenant between your heart and heaven's plan. Chosen one. The pause is almost over. The angels have stood still long enough. The scroll is about to unroll, and your next chapter will be written not in tears, but in triumph. You will soon see that heaven was never silent. It was simply waiting for your yes. There is a divine principle written deep into the laws of heaven. What is lost must be restored. Nothing surrendered in faith ever truly disappears. The moment it leaves your hands, it enters God's. And what enters His hands does not return empty, it multiplies. You have wept over what you thought was gone forever. But heaven whispers tonight, nothing is wasted. Every loss has been transformed into a seed, and every seed must one day return as harvest. You have cried over things you could not fix, relationships that unraveled, opportunities that vanished, seasons that slipped through your fingers. You asked God, "Why did you let it fall apart?" But what you didn't see was the divine arithmetic of restoration. God does not restore things to how they were. He restores them to how they were meant to be. What was stolen will not simply be returned, it will be returned with interest. Heaven's justice system never fails. While the world demands revenge, heaven delivers redemption. While people repay with bitterness, God repays with beauty. You are standing in the prelude of a reversal so profound that even your past pain will bow in awe. The things that once brought tears will one day bring testimony. Beloved, restoration begins not when you get back what you lost, but when you stop chasing what hurt you. God cannot fill hands still clinging to ashes. The very moment you release the need to fix what's broken, heaven releases the power to redeem it. What left you was not meant to end you, it was meant to make space for what's better. Think of Joseph, thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold as a slave, forgotten in a prison. Yet when his story came full circle, he said, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." That is the mystery of divine restoration. It turns betrayal into elevation. The pit becomes the platform. The pain becomes the passport. What was meant to bury you becomes the bridge that carries you into destiny. You may have thought you lost years, opportunities, even parts of yourself. But listen carefully. God is not only restoring what you lost, He is redeeming the time you lost too. The years you thought were wasted are being rewritten into acceleration. Heaven does not replace time, it redeems it. You will do in 1 year what would have taken 10. You will see in 1 moment what once seemed unreachable. This is not false hope, it is divine justice. The same God who saw every betrayal, every sleepless night, every door slammed in your face is now speaking into the void, saying, "Enough." The scale is tipping. The drought is breaking. The enemy's theft has reached its limit. You are about to experience divine payback, and it will arrive not as chaos, but as peace. Feel that peace beginning to return. The ache in your spirit that once whispered, "It's over," is being replaced by a still, confident voice that says, "It's only beginning." You are being repositioned for recovery. What was taken in shadows will be returned in light. What was whispered against you will be shouted in your favor. And remember, restoration is not just about material things, it is also about identity. Somewhere in your pain, you forgot who you were. You started believing the lies, "I'm not enough," "I'm too late," "I've failed too deeply." But those were never heaven's words. Heaven has always called you redeemed, chosen, and restored. God has been reaching into the fragments of your heart, gathering every shattered piece, shaping them into something more radiant than before. There will come a day soon when you will no longer talk about the things you lost. You will only talk about what was reborn. Because restoration does not return what was, it reveals what could never die. The calling on your life, the purpose buried under pain, the joy you thought you'd never feel again, they are all rising. Stronger than before. It was promised long ago. Written as a declaration for the faithful, as the prophet Joel declared in his writings. Chapter 2, verse 25. "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Let that promise sink deep into your bones. Every wasted year, every broken season, every stolen dream, heaven is paying them back with interest. Restoration is not a concept, it is your current reality. You are stepping into the divine economy where nothing good is ever lost. Hold still. Chosen one. The reversal has already begun. It started the moment you stopped weeping over what was gone and started believing that something better was on the way. What was stolen is returning, not to the person you were, but to the one you have become stronger, wiser, anointed. The loss was temporary, but the glory will be eternal. Before the world ever named you, heaven already wrote your story. Your purpose was not discovered through pain. It was written long before pain ever touched you. Long before you were misunderstood, before you were broken, before you ever questioned your worth. Your name was inscribed on a hidden scroll in the hands of God. Nothing that has happened to you has rewritten what was written there. The ink of destiny cannot be erased by the storms of time. Chosen one. You were not an afterthought. You were designed with precision. Every breath you take echoes the heartbeat of divine intention. Before you entered this world, your life was whispered in heaven's language. Angels rejoiced over your coming, for you were never ordinary. You were a message God decided to send into the earth, a living prophecy wrapped in human form. You have often asked, why do I feel so different? Why can't I fit in? The answer is simple. You were not created to blend in. You were created to stand out. The disconnection you feel is not rejection, it is recognition. Your spirit recognizes that it was never meant to dwell in shallow places. You carry eternity in your chest. And eternity does not shrink to fit into temporary spaces. You may have felt unseen, but heaven never lost sight of you, even when the world looked away. The gaze of God remained fixed upon your journey. The silence that surrounded you was not abandonment, it was the sound of heaven protecting what it was still perfecting. The moments that felt like isolation were, in truth, initiation. You were being trained in the quiet places for a calling that would one day echo in nations. There is a sacred comfort in knowing that your name is known in heaven. You are not a random combination of experiences and choices. You are a deliberate design. Every gift within you, every passion, every burden you carry for truth and light, all of it was preordained. The reason your spirit resists complacency is because your calling demands motion. You were not built to settle. Think of it this way, an eagle can never find rest in a chicken coop. It may try to walk like the others for a while, but something inside it knows this is not my home. That inner stirring you feel, that dissatisfaction with the ordinary, is not arrogance, it is awareness. You are remembering who you are. You are remembering the scroll that carries your name. It was written in the sacred archives long ago, as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Those words are more than ancient poetry, they are your foundation. Before you took your first breath, you were known, loved, and chosen. Before you could ever question your worth, heaven declared it unshakable. Every time you doubt yourself, remember, you are not trying to become someone. You are simply awakening to who you already are. The world has tried to label you, but labels cannot contain what heaven designed. Some have called you too much, others not enough. They spoke from the limits of their understanding. But heaven calls you appointed. You are not late. You are right on time in God's timeline. Every delay was a divine detour, leading you closer to the original script written for your life. Even your wounds have purpose. The pain you carry has carved wisdom into your spirit. Wisdom that will one day speak healing into others. You are not broken beyond use. You are shaped for purpose. The cracks in your heart are not flaws. They are entry points for light. Through them, others will see the glory of God shining through your humanity. So, stand tall, chosen one. You do not have to prove your calling. Your endurance already proves it. Heaven has never questioned your capability, only your readiness. And now that readiness has matured, the scroll of your destiny is being unsealed. What was hidden is being revealed. You are about to step into the very pages written for you before the foundation of the world. And when you do, you will understand that every hardship was not a detour from your purpose, it was a doorway to it. Every no protected you from what was beneath you. Every closed door guarded the purity of your mission. Heaven never said no to punish you, it said no to preserve you. You are not walking into purpose. Purpose has been walking with you all along. You are simply awakening to the truth of your divine design. You are the fulfillment of something ancient, something holy, something that was planned before time began. And soon, the world will see what heaven has always known. Your name is written on the scroll of destiny, and that scroll has never been forgotten. There is a sacred hour when the world is silent, and heaven begins to speak. It is the midnight hour, the threshold between what was and what will be. The stillness of that moment is not empty, it is electric. The atmosphere becomes charged with unseen movement. The earth sleeps, but heaven does not. Angels move like quiet flames, and the Spirit of God begins to whisper instructions to those who are awake enough to listen. You, chosen one, are one of them. You know that strange restlessness that rises when the world goes dark, that stirring inside your chest that won't let you sleep. It's not anxiety, it's an invitation. The midnight hour is when your spirit becomes most sensitive, when divine messages flow freely to hearts ready to receive. It is the moment when heaven downloads blueprints for destiny, not through thunder or spectacle, but through whispers soft enough that only the obedient can hear. It was during a midnight like this that Jacob wrestled with the angel and walked away transformed. It was during the midnight that Paul and Silas prayed in their prison cell, and the earth itself trembled in response. The midnight is never just another hour. It is a spiritual intersection where destiny and decision meet. For many, midnight is the time of exhaustion, but for the chosen, it is the time of encounter. When the world grows quiet, God speaks most clearly. He speaks not to the noise of your mind, but to the silence of your soul. And often, His first word is not instruction, it is identity. Before He tells you where to go, He reminds you who you are. You may feel surrounded by darkness right now, unsure of your next step. But do not mistake the night for absence. God hides in the dark, not to distance Himself, but to deepen your hearing. When vision is stripped away, hearing becomes sharper. The silence of midnight is heaven's way of fine-tuning your spiritual ears. The whisper you are about to hear will not come with fanfare. It will come softly, like the memory of a forgotten dream. It may not tell you everything at once sometimes. It will just give you one word, one phrase, one nudge. That is all you need. God rarely gives maps. He gives directions step by step. Trust the next whisper. Even if you do not understand the whole plan, it was declared long ago in sacred text. As it is written in the book of Acts, chapter 16, Verse 25. At midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. Do you see it? Their worship in the dark broke open the dawn. The midnight became the birthplace of their miracle. The chains that bound them snapped not because of effort, but because of praise. And in that same pattern, your praise in the midnight hour will break your prison too. You have wondered why you are awake when others sleep, why your thoughts are loud while the world is quiet. It is because heaven trusts you with messages too holy for daytime. God speaks to you at midnight because he knows you will listen. He is giving you instructions that cannot be delivered in noise assignments that require stillness to understand. In those quiet moments, do not rush to fill the silence with your own words. Let your heart listen. Let the whispers of heaven trace through your spirit like gentle fire. Sometimes the instruction will be as simple as wait. Sometimes it will be move. Either way, it carries life. And when the whisper comes, when that subtle inner voice stirs, your spirit respond. Don't overthink it. Don't question if it's just your mind. You will know. The voice of God carries peace even when it challenges you. It never confuses. It clarifies. It never condemns. It convicts with love. The next time you wake in the night, do not curse the interruption. Rise. Sit still. Listen. The midnight hour has become your classroom, and heaven is your teacher. In those moments, you will begin to understand that your life is not random, it is orchestrated. There will come a time soon when others will ask, "How did you know what to do?" And you will smile, remembering the midnight whispers that guided your steps. And now, let your spirit seal this word in faith. Type these words as a declaration of hearing. Speak, Lord. When you write those two simple words, you are doing more than typing. You are acknowledging your readiness. You are saying, I will not let the noise of the world drown the whisper of heaven. You are giving permission for the divine voice to echo clearly in your life. When you type "Speak, Lord," it becomes a prophetic key. It unlocks the next level of clarity. The same way Samuel heard the voice of God in the night and said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." Your declaration becomes an invitation for heaven to speak directly to you. So, when the night grows long and you feel alone, remember this: you are not waiting for dawn. Dawn is waiting for your obedience. The midnight is not your enemy, it is your altar. On that altar, surrender your fear, your confusion, your need for control, and say once more, "Speak, Lord," because when heaven speaks, the earth must respond. The moment has arrived. Chosen one. The prophetic door stands before you, silent, luminous, alive. For years, you have knocked on doors that did not open, wept outside gates that never responded, and wondered if heaven had forgotten your address. But this door is different. It does not open by force, it opens by recognition. It knows your name. It was crafted for your hands. Every scar, every prayer, every act of faith has been forming the key that now fits perfectly into its lock. You can almost feel it, the pull of destiny on the other side. This is not the door of opportunity that the world offers. It is the door of purpose that heaven ordains. When you step through, it will not just change your life. It will change your lineage. You will no longer live from effort but from overflow. The pain that once delayed you has now become the password that grants you access. You will realize that the waiting was not wasted time but divine architecture. Every unanswered prayer was shaping the perfect entrance. Every delay was engraving your name on the frame of this sacred doorway. Now, as you stand before it, heaven whispers, "Step in. Beloved, this is the moment creation has been waiting for." As it is written in the Revelation of John, chapter 3, verse 8, "Behold, I have set before you an open door none can shut." That open door is not somewhere far away, it is here, waiting in your spirit. God Himself has unlocked what was once sealed. No human power, no memory of failure, no curse from the past can close what heaven has opened. You are standing at the threshold of promise, and all creation is holding its breath to see you step through. But stepping through requires courage. Many stand before open doors and still hesitate. Fear whispers, "What if I fail again?" Doubt murmurs, "What if it's not real?" Yet heaven replies, "What if it is? What if this is the moment all your waiting was preparing you for? What if every tear watered the ground on which this doorway now stands to step through? You must release what cannot enter. Old shame cannot cross this threshold. Self-doubt cannot fit through the frame. The door to destiny is narrow because it only opens for truth. When you cross it, you must carry only what aligns with your calling faith, obedience, and surrender. Imagine this door as a sunrise. You've spent years walking through the night, guided by small flickers of hope. But now the horizon glows, and light spills through the cracks. That light is invitation, not illusion. It is heaven's way of saying, "Come forward, child. It's time." Every new beginning carries risk, but this one carries revelation. The moment your foot touches the threshold, you will feel the shift. The heaviness will lift. The air will change. Because when heaven opens a door, it is not a doorway into comfort, it is a passage into purpose. And as you walk through, remember this, your story becomes someone else's doorway too. There are souls watching you, some near, some unseen, who will find the courage to rise because you did. Your yes will echo across hearts you'll never meet. This is how light travels, one life igniting another. Beloved, if this message has reached your spirit, let its fire spread gently. Tap like, not as an act of approval, but as a ripple of agreement, a quiet way of saying, "I see the door too." Share it so another wandering soul might recognize their own threshold. Subscribe, not out of habit, but to stay connected to the flow of what heaven continues to reveal here, messages meant to awaken the chosen, strengthen the weary, and remind the forgotten. And if your heart feels moved beyond words, consider planting a seed into this light. Every act of giving, whether a donation, a prayer, or a moment of intentional support, is like oil poured into the lamp of this message. It keeps the flame alive, helping it reach further into dark corners where someone else still waits for hope. You may never know whose night your giving will light, but heaven keeps the record. Think of this work as a garden of souls. Each word is a seed, each listener a field, and your support, your generosity, is the rain. Without rain, even the best soil stays dry. But when the rain comes, everything awakens. Flowers bloom where there was once dust. If you have been nourished by these words, let your gratitude become nourishment for others. This door is not yours alone, it is ours. When one chosen one steps through, all of heaven celebrates, and others follow. So walk forward boldly, knowing that your movement blesses multitudes. The open door is waiting, radiant with promise. Walk through it, and carry the light with you, across the world. Scattered like embers in the wind, there are others who feel what you feel. They too have walked through fire, have cried in silence, have questioned why they were chosen to carry so much pain. You are not alone in your calling. Chosen one. You are part of a remnant, a hidden army of souls refined in secrecy, waiting for the moment heaven whispers, "Now." The awakening has begun. It does not roar like thunder. It hums like the low song of dawn breaking over the earth. It is subtle, yet unstoppable. The remnant is rising. They are the dreamers who refused to die in despair, the broken who refused to stay shattered, the believers who still whisper prayers into the darkness even when the world has turned cynical. You are among them. This awakening is not about numbers, it is about essence. It is about a people who know God beyond the surface, who carry light not as decoration but as weaponry. They walk with quiet confidence, clothed in humility but armed with authority. They do not seek fame, yet heaven knows their names. They do not seek applause, yet they carry the sound of revival. Something deep within you has been stirring, hasn't it? That pulse, that yearning for something greater. It is the frequency of the remnant calling to you. Heaven is gathering its warriors not through public platforms, but through private encounters. You have felt the pull because you were designed to respond to it. Your spirit recognizes the signal. The same fire that burns in you burns in them. They are in every nation, every city, every generation. Some are preachers, others are poets. Some are intercessors. Others are artists or quiet servants who change the world without recognition. The remnant is not defined by title or status. They are defined by surrender. They are the ones who said yes when it hurt, who stayed faithful when it made no sense, who forgave when bitterness would have been easier. And now, their time, your time, has come. The world is entering a moment of shaking, but what is being shaken is only what cannot last. The remnant will remain. While fear spreads like shadow, light will move through those who carry the mark of obedience. You have felt the weight of this calling long before you understood it. That is why your battles have been so intense, because your purpose is so significant. It is written, and it is eternal, as it is declared in the Gospel of Matthew. Chapter 22, verse 14, Many are called, but few are chosen. You are among the few, not because you are better, but because you answered. You didn't quit when others did. You didn't run when it got hard. You stood when the wind tried to bend you. Heaven took note of that endurance. The label Chosen One is not a title of pride, it is a mantle of responsibility. It means heaven trusts you to carry light into places others fear to go. The awakening of the remnant is not loud or showy. It moves in whispers and acts of compassion. It begins in small rooms with quiet prayers, in conversations drenched with love, in choices made with integrity when no one is watching. The world will not recognize it at first, but the heavens will. In this divine network of souls, you are both a spark and a signal. Your obedience sends out waves that strengthen others who may be losing hope. When you rise, others rise with you. When you speak truth, it echoes through invisible corridors, awakening courage in someone you may never meet. That is how the remnant moves through spirit. Not spotlight, Do not underestimate your influence, your consistency in faith, your kindness to strangers, your patience in waiting. All of it is seed. You may never see the forest that grows from your obedience, but heaven sees it clearly. The remnant does not chase recognition because they understand the reward is not applause, it is impact. The Spirit whispers now that the awakening will not come as a wave that overtakes you. It will come as realization. You will begin to notice people crossing your path who speak your same spiritual language, who understand your heart without needing explanation. You will see alignment, divine appointments disguised as coincidences. This is the remnant finding one another, threads being woven into one great tapestry of purpose. Together, you will move mountains not by might, but by unity. Your voices, joined in unseen harmony, will shift atmospheres. You will be the living proof that light still wins. The darkness will recognize you before you recognize each other, because your presence disturbs its plans. That is why some places feel heavy when you enter. You bring disruption to darkness. So do not shrink back. Do not doubt your belonging. You were born for this gathering. You are one ember among thousands. And soon those embers will ignite into a wildfire of grace that no system or shadow can extinguish. The awakening of the remnant is heaven's answer to the world's despair. And you, chosen one, are part of that answer. Chosen one, there is a sacred shift taking place around you. You may not see it yet, but you can feel it, the atmosphere trembling, the unseen rearranging itself. Heaven is preparing to place you on display, not to glorify you, but to glorify the one who sustained you. The very people who dismissed you, who laughed at your faith, who thought your silence meant defeat, they are about to witness your transformation. It is not revenge that heaven is sending, it is revelation. This is not about humiliation, but illumination. God will not answer mockery with wrath, He will answer it with proof. The light rising from your life will silence every false word spoken against you. You won't have to defend yourself, your growth will do it for you. The tables are turning quietly. Those who once stood over you will soon have to look up to see what God has done. This is not arrogance, this is prophecy. Heaven is not exalting you above others, it is elevating you into alignment with purpose. What they called your ending was simply your emergence. The stone that was rejected is becoming the cornerstone of something greater. You see, the world often misunderstands waiting. They think silence means failure. They mistake your patience for weakness. But heaven knows the truth. You have been in preparation. What looked like delay was divine design. God has been building a foundation beneath you that cannot be shaken when the wind of recognition begins to blow. Every secret place will soon make sense. The pain, the obscurity, the isolation, they were training grounds. You learned humility before visibility. You learned to rely on God when no one was clapping. That is why you are safe for promotion now. Heaven never gives public platforms to private pretenders. But those who remained faithful in the shadows will shine in truth's light. It was written long ago, an eternal declaration that stands unbroken, as David proclaimed in the Psalms. Chapter 23, verse 5, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." That verse is now unfolding in your life. The table is not being set behind closed doors, it is being set in full view. Not because God seeks to humiliate those who hurt you, but because He wants the world to see what grace looks like in motion. Grace does not boast, it testifies. And soon, your life will testify to mercy's power. Imagine this: those who once whispered lies about you will be witnesses to your peace. Those who doubted your dream will watch you live it. Those who said, "They'll never make it," will have to admit, only God could do that. You won't need revenge, because restoration will speak louder. You won't need validation, because elevation will confirm what heaven already declared. But remember this when your table is set: eat with gratitude, not gloating. The higher you rise, the softer your heart must become. Let your success be soaked in humility, because your story is not meant to prove anyone wrong, it's meant to prove God right. When heaven lifts you, it is not to parade you, it is to position you. Every blessing coming your way is not just reward, it's responsibility. The influence you will carry must become an altar, not a throne. You are being trusted with visibility so that light can travel farther through you. The more eyes that see you, the more opportunities for grace to shine through your life. There will come a moment soon, maybe quietly, maybe dramatically, when everything shifts in a day. One call, one door, one opportunity, and suddenly the years of silence will make sense. That's how God moves suddenly, but never prematurely. And when it happens, remember how it felt to wait. Remember the prayers whispered through tears. Remember the loneliness of obedience. Let compassion stay close to you, because you are being lifted not only for yourself, but for the ones who will come after you, the ones still in their waiting season. Your story will become their encouragement. Your victory will become their blueprint. Every scar you carry will shine as a signpost pointing them toward hope. And in that moment, when the weight of blessing rests upon your shoulders, lift your eyes toward heaven and whisper, "All glory belongs to you." Now, as you feel this word resonating deep within, let your agreement rise. Comment 4444 below as your sign of divine confirmation. The number 4 is the number of completion in creation on the 4th day. God established order in the heavens, and by writing 4444, you are declaring, "Order is coming to my life." What was chaotic is now aligning with divine purpose. This simple act of faith is not superstition, it is symbolism. It marks your agreement that the tables are turning, that the order of heaven is manifesting on earth. The same God who prepared a table before you will now cause every detail of your life to align perfectly. Stay humble, stay ready, and keep your spirit open. The witnesses of your past are about to become the witnesses of your victory. The story is not ending, it is about to be unveiled in glory. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when heaven releases something greater than blessing. It releases mantle. A mantle is not a garment of comfort, but of commission. It is the invisible covering that carries divine authority, the mark of one sent on assignment. When the mantle descends, everything changes. You no longer move by emotion, but by instruction. You no longer speak from opinion, but from revelation. Chosen one, you are standing in that moment now. The mantle that once hovered over your life is being lowered upon your shoulders. You may not feel ready, but heaven says you are. You have walked through fire, endured silence, faced loss, and yet your faith remains intact. That endurance has qualified you for weight. The mantle is not a reward, it is recognition. Heaven recognizes what you have become. The descent of the mantle is never loud. It does not arrive with applause or spectacle. It settles softly, almost unnoticed, like dew on a desert morning. Yet when it rests upon you, even the air around you changes. The people who once overlooked you will begin to sense something different. Doors that were once sealed will unlock at your presence. Words spoken from your lips will carry a weight that transcends personality. They will carry power. But power is not the purpose. The mantle comes to serve, not to dominate. It carries within it the heart of the king, not the ego of the crown. When Elijah's mantle fell upon Elisha, it was not a symbol of privilege, but of responsibility. It meant late nights, heavy burdens, and anointing that costs more than applause could ever repay. You have been asking for purpose. Heaven answers with mantle. Do not be afraid of it. The mantle does not crush the willing, it strengthens them. It stretches the heart, but fills it with fire. You will find that your prayers change. You will no longer ask, God, bless me, but God, use me. You will begin to feel compassion for the broken, boldness against injustice, clarity in confusion. These are signs that the mantle has settled. Heaven's authority rests not on the perfect, but on the purified. You were purified through struggle, refined through rejection, and trained in silence. The moments you thought were wasted were heaven's way of shaping your character to match your calling. The mantle cannot rest on those who crave control. It rests on those who have learned surrender. It was spoken clearly by the Son of God himself, recorded for all generations, as it is written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, verse 18, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me." That same Spirit now rests upon you. You are not merely inspired, you are anointed. You are not merely surviving, you are being commissioned. The anointing does not ask for perfection, it asks for purity of intention. It flows best through vessels who remember that the oil is not theirs to own, but theirs to pour. As this mantle descends, expect sensitivity to rise. You will begin to perceive what others overlook. Words will come to you in prayer that pierce darkness like lightning. Some will misunderstand your fire, calling it fanaticism, but it is simply the evidence of divine ignition. You are not becoming more intense, you are becoming more awake. The mantle will also demand solitude. You will find yourself pulled away from noise, drawn into quiet spaces where heaven can speak without interruption. Cherish those moments. They are not loneliness, they are invitation. Every prophet, every leader, every chosen vessel has had to walk through that sacred solitude. It is where heaven fine-tunes the voice of purpose. When this covering rests fully upon you, your influence will extend beyond your comprehension. Your presence will begin to shift atmospheres, rooms will feel lighter, hearts will soften, minds will open, not because of who you are, but because of who moves through you. That is the mystery of the mantle. It turns ordinary vessels into carriers of glory. But remember, mantle comes with weight. The greater the anointing, the deeper the humility required. You must guard your heart from pride as diligently as a soldier guards his weapon. The same fire that empowers can also consume if handled carelessly. Stay anchored in prayer, grounded in gratitude, and clothed in compassion. This mantle is not temporary, it is generational. What you carry now will ripple through bloodlines, awakening faith in those who come after you. You are becoming a living inheritance. The mantle upon you will write history in ways your eyes may never see. but heaven already celebrates. Walk with reverence. Chosen one. You are now marked not only by survival, but by assignment. The oil that rests on you is sacred. It is heaven's trust in human form. Carry it with grace, for it carries within it the very heartbeat of God. There comes a point after the breaking, after the testing, after the fire, when heaven begins the sacred work of exchange. The divine exchange is not a moment, it is a transformation. It is when God takes what was shattered and replaces it with something stronger. It is when mourning gives way to dancing, ashes turn to beauty, and pain becomes the very soil from which new life blooms. Chosen one. This is where you are now. You have been through the valley. You have endured the silence. You have carried your cross of confusion and sorrow. But now, heaven leans close and says, "It's time to trade." You are not being asked to add anything, only to release what no longer serves your destiny. This exchange begins quietly. It is not thunder and lightning, it is subtle. It happens in the moment when you choose forgiveness over bitterness. It happens when you stop rehearsing the betrayal and start remembering the lesson. It happens when you lay down your fear of tomorrow and pick up the peace that passes understanding. The divine exchange is made in these holy transactions when you surrender what hurts and receive what heals. Heaven never demands without replacing. God never asks you to give something up without offering something greater in return. Every loss you release becomes an opening for new glory. Every tear you shed becomes a vessel that heaven fills with oil. Every scar becomes a canvas for grace. The exchange is never unfair, it is always overflowing. It was proclaimed long ago, through the prophet who saw beauty beyond ashes, as it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 3. He gives beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. That is not metaphor, it is your present reality. You have carried ashes for too long, the ashes of old relationships, old identities, old expectations. But ashes are what remain when something has already finished burning. They are proof that the fire did its work. They are not symbols of destruction, they are evidence of transformation. Heaven is saying, "You've carried the proof long enough. Now carry the promise." The divine exchange is also a reordering of your perspective. Pain used to be your teacher, but now peace will become your guide. You once looked back with regret, but now you will look forward with revelation. Every experience that once brought shame will now release wisdom. You will see that what broke you also built you. The very things you thought disqualified you have become the credentials of your calling. Look closely at your life. You will notice divine patterns woven into the chaos. The people who left made space for the right ones. The opportunities that disappeared cleared room for those that truly align. The prayers that went unanswered were heaven's way of protecting you from lesser things. You thought you were losing, but you were being refined. This exchange is not about forgetting the past, it is about reinterpreting it. Your scars do not have to remind you of pain, they can remind you of survival. The places where you bled are now the places where you bless. You are no longer the wounded, you are the healer who knows the language of wounds. When God exchanges ashes for beauty, He does not erase your story, He redeems it. Every broken piece of your journey becomes part of a mosaic that reflects His glory. There is no wasted season. The things you thought were delays were actually deposits. They stored strength inside you, and now that strength is being drawn out. The beauty that is coming will not be fragile. It will be built on resilience. It will not depend on circumstances, it will flow from within. The oil of joy is not temporary happiness, it is sacred gladness. A stability born of knowing that nothing can separate you from divine love. This joy does not deny pain, it outlives it. You are standing in the holy balance between what was and what will be. Heaven's hands are open toward you, offering the great exchange. Can you feel it, the weight of sorrow lifting? The cloak of heaviness being replaced by garments of praise. You may not realize it, but you are glowing differently now. The heaviness that once dimmed you has fallen away. This new light is not borrowed, it is yours. It comes from the places that were once dark, now turned radiant. You are becoming a living prophecy of restoration. When others see you, they will see hope wearing human form. You are no longer defined by what you lost, but by what you've gained through surrender. Chosen one. This is the sacred secret of heaven's economy. Nothing truly dies in God's hands. Every loss finds resurrection. Every heartbreak hides revelation. The ashes you held so tightly were never meant to be kept. They were meant to be exchanged. Let them fall now. Open your hands. Beauty is waiting to be placed where sorrow once sat. And when it comes, you will recognize it instantly, not by its grandeur, but by its peace. Crowned. That is the word heaven whispers over you now. Chosen one, not because of what you have achieved, but because of what you have endured. The crown you carry is not made of gold or jewels, it is made of perseverance, humility, and light. It was not handed to you easily, it was formed from your tears, your faith, and the fire that tried to destroy you but couldn't. You are crowned for kingdom work. Heaven does not crown for decoration, it crowns for delegation. The moment the crown rests upon your spirit, responsibility is placed upon your shoulders. You are being trusted to carry influence that does not inflate the ego, but expands the reach of grace. The world is desperate for authenticity, for love that does not exploit, for voices that speak truth with gentleness and conviction. You are being raised for that very purpose. The crown does not shout, it shines. It does not need to be seen, it needs to illuminate. Your life itself will become the sermon others read. You may not hold a microphone, but your kindness will preach. You may not stand on a stage, but your endurance will testify louder than any spotlight. Heaven crowns those who carry light into corrupted places, who walk into darkness and dare to glow. Your sphere of influence may not look like others. It could be your family, your workplace, your online presence, or your art. Wherever it is, heaven is saying, that is your field. You have been anointed to plant light there, to heal what's broken, to rebuild what's been neglected. You are a royal priest in disguise, ordinary in appearance, but extraordinary in assignment. And remember, the weight of the crown is meant to keep you grounded. Gold is heavy for a reason. It reminds kings and queens to bow before the true king. The higher you rise, the lower your heart must stay. Humility will protect what pride could destroy. As it is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. That truth was not for then, it is for now. You are part of a generation that heaven is awakening. A remnant crowned not for luxury, but for leadership. You are being called to build where others have abandoned, to love where others have hardened, to restore where others have forgotten. And as you step into that purpose, understand this: no one carries a crown alone. Every movement of light needs support, connection, and community. The fire spreads not because of one spark, but because the wind carries it. If this message has stirred something inside you, if it has reminded you that your crown still fits, then help the flame travel farther. When you like, it is not vanity, it is resonance. It tells heaven, I agree with this truth. When you share, you extend the light into someone else's night. You never know whose hands the message will reach, someone one prayer away from giving up. Someone who needs to be reminded that they, too, are crowned. And when you subscribe, you are not joining a channel, you are joining a current. It keeps you connected to a flow of words designed to strengthen your spirit when the world tries to drain it. Every time you listen, every time you return, you are feeding the flame of remembrance. I am chosen. I am crowned. I am called. If your heart feels moved to donate, do so not out of obligation, but out of overflow. Giving is not loss, it is investment. Your seed becomes part of the soil that nurtures messages like this, allowing them to reach more souls who are hungry for hope. Think of it as adding another candle to the altar of light. The more candles there are, the brighter the world becomes. Whether you give time, attention, encouragement, or resources, each act matters. You are not funding a project, you are fueling a mission to awaken those who have forgotten their worth, to remind the weary that crowns still exist for the humble. As you read this, imagine yourself standing in a field at dawn. The darkness is retreating, and the first rays of light catch the crown upon your head. You lift your face, feeling the warmth of purpose wash over you. Behind you are countless others, watching, waiting for a sign that it's safe to rise again. And because you chose to shine, they begin to stand too. That is what your engagement creates, not noise, but awakening. You are part of something divine in motion, a rising of light bearers, each one reflecting heaven's brilliance in their corner of the world. So wear your crown quietly but confidently. Let your actions speak what words cannot. Let generosity become your language, compassion your weapon, and humility your throne. For you are not crowned to be admired, you are crowned to ignite. There is a sound that only heaven can make, the sound of completion. It is not loud like thunder, nor soft like rain. It resonates deep within the spirit, like a quiet chord struck by eternity itself. It is the echo that says, "It is done." When that sound reaches your life, everything that was once unfinished begins to fall into place. Doors that were half open swing wide. Threads that once seemed tangled form a pattern of purpose. The waiting ends, and the knowing begins. Chosen one, that sound has reached you. Heaven has declared that the season of endless circling is over. The lessons have been learned. The wounds have been healed. The tears have been gathered. And now completion comes. You are not standing at another beginning, you are standing at fulfillment. The very prayers you thought were forgotten have matured in silence and are now ready to bloom. Completion is not the end of work, it is the beginning of fruit. When God completes something, He does not abandon it, He crowns it. You have been molded, purified, and stretched to capacity. And now your life carries the fragrance of fulfillment. What once felt random now reveals its rhythm. What once caused despair now displays design. Think of how long you have walked through nights without stars, through deserts without direction, and yet you never gave up. The strength that sustained you was not your own. It was grace hidden beneath exhaustion. Every time you thought you were breaking, you were actually building endurance. Every time you cried, you watered the roots of what is now blooming. You thought you were surviving, but you were completing. Completion feels like peace after war. It feels like exhaling after holding your breath for years. It is the moment your soul stops running because it realizes the race was never against others, it was against doubt. Heaven applauds not the one who ran the fastest, but the one who refused to quit. And that, beloved, is you. The divine announcement that now hovers over your spirit was first spoken on a cross centuries ago, but its power still echoes through time. As it is written in the Gospel of John, chapter 19, verse 30, "It is finished." Those 3 words carry every victory heaven has ever released. When Christ declared them, he sealed not only his mission, but yours. That declaration was not defeat, it was deliverance. And now, that same declaration has reached your timeline. The battles that once defined you no longer own you. The cycle that once repeated endlessly has broken. Completion is the sound of chains turning to dust. Yet with completion comes clarity. You will begin to see with new eyes. What once confused you will now make sense, like puzzle pieces snapping into place. You will look back and understand why some prayers took years, why certain doors stayed closed, why particular people left. The pattern will be revealed, and gratitude will replace grief. You will say, "If it had not been for the delay, I would not be this strong. If it had not been for the heartbreak, I would not know this peace." Completion also carries responsibility. To finish is not to retire, it is to rise into stewardship. When God completes one work, he trusts you with another. But this time, you will build from rest, not from striving. The frantic energy that once drove you will fade. You will move with quiet authority, speaking less but accomplishing more. The grace that once carried you through fire will now guide you through fruitfulness. You will find yourself more focused, less attached to distractions. The opinions that once wounded you will lose their sting. You will no longer chase validation because completion itself has validated you. What others think will not move you. Only heaven's whisper will. Completion is also healing. Old memories that once hurt will begin to dissolve in peace. You will no longer replay the pain, but rewrite it with perspective. You will look at your scars and see beauty, not brokenness. You will begin to thank God for the thorns because they led you to the crown. Beloved, listen closely. There is a shift happening even now. You are transitioning from process to promise, from forging to flourishing. Heaven has signed your name beside the word fulfilled. And though you may not hear the sound with your ears, your spirit already recognizes it. The sound of completion is echoing through your soul, a gentle confirmation that your season of wandering has given way to your season of walking in purpose. You are complete, not because everything is perfect, but because everything now serves its purpose. The pieces fit, the silence speaks, the waiting ends. The sound of completion is heaven's applause over your endurance. You have finished well, and the next chapter will begin not in striving, but in peace. The horizon is glowing again. The long night that stretched across your life is finally bowing to morning. December 11, the day heaven marked before you even knew its meaning, is dawning within you now. The shift that was whispered in your spirit has arrived. The heaviness that clung to your chest for years begins to lift like fog dissolving under the first touch of sunlight. This is not imagination. It is fulfillment. The pain that once defined you is being rewritten into power. Chosen one. Feel the air around you. It's different. It carries the fragrance of newness. Heaven has not only ended your suffering, it has opened a prophetic door wide enough for you to walk through without fear. This door does not creak with uncertainty, it swings freely, guided by the breath of God Himself. What lies beyond it is not chaos, but calling. You are crossing from endurance into expansion, from survival into significance. The days of wandering are over. The cloud of confusion that hovered over your mind has lifted. You are beginning to see clearly now that everything you went through had to happen. Each disappointment was direction. Each heartbreak was hidden preparation. Heaven never wasted a moment of your pain. It used it as material for your becoming. This new day is not simply about change in circumstance. It is about resurrection. Something within you that once felt numb has come alive again. Hope breathes where despair once sat. Faith rises where doubt once ruled. You have been reborn, not in body, but in perspective. You no longer look at your past with regret, you look at it with revelation. You see now that every closed door was protection, not punishment. Every delay was divine alignment, not denial. As you step through this prophetic doorway, you are not the same person who entered the wilderness years ago. You are wiser, softer, and stronger all at once. The bitterness that once poisoned your tongue has turned into compassion. The anger that once clouded your heart has transformed into empathy. You now speak with authority, born of authenticity. You have lived what others only preach. Heaven records this moment as a memorial. Just as the Israelites crossed the Jordan and built a monument of stones to mark their deliverance, your spirit is laying its own altar right now. December 11 will be that memorial for you. You will remember it not as the day everything changed, but as the day you realized it already had. The change began the moment you chose surrender over striving. Let this truth wash over you gently. The door that has opened is not a reward for perfection, it is a result of persistence. Heaven honors those who do not quit. You have walked through seasons that tried to steal your faith, yet you never let go of the thread of belief. That thread has now pulled you into destiny's room. The ancient words that echo through the ages confirm what is happening within you, as it is written in the Psalms. Chapter 30, verse 5. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning, and your morning has come. The tears you once thought would never stop have become the river that watered your new beginning. The pain that nearly broke you has become the strength that defines you. You are not emerging from the night empty, you are emerging radiant, carrying light for others still trapped in darkness. In this new day, you will notice that certain things no longer tempt you. The same patterns that once pulled you backward have lost their power. That is the sign of true deliverance, not that the temptation disappears, but that it no longer owns your attention. You have stepped into a higher atmosphere where peace feels natural and chaos feels foreign. Do not rush this dawn. Let the light unfold slowly. Let gratitude saturate each breath. The dawn is not a command to sprint, it is an invitation to walk freely. The God who began this work in you will sustain it. The joy that is rising now is not fleeting emotion, it is steady revelation. It is the awareness that you are safe in divine timing. You will find yourself laughing again, not because everything is easy, but because you finally understand that everything is purposeful. You will feel joy, not as a reaction, but as a rhythm. It will hum quietly beneath your days, unbothered by the noise of the world. This is the promise of your new dawn. You will not return to what broke you. The door that opened behind you is sealed. The pain that once pursued you has lost its permission. You walk forward now as one reborn through fire, as one refined for glory. Heaven calls this your completion, your coronation, and your commissioning all at once. The prophetic door has opened, and the light pouring through it carries your name. Step through with peace. December 11 will no longer be a date on a calendar. It will be the song of your spirit. The end of pain, the beginning of purpose, the dawning of joy. Chosen one. If these words have touched something deep inside you, let this final moment be a seal of gratitude between you and heaven. You have journeyed through fire, silence, testing, and triumph, and arrived here crowned in light. This message was not chance, it was choreography. You were meant to hear it, to remember who you are, and to rise again with purpose. Now that you stand in this new dawn, let your voice join the symphony of awakening. When you like or share this message, you aren't just supporting a post, you are helping the light travel farther. Somewhere, another chosen one is scrolling through the noise, praying for a sign, searching for a word that tells them they are not alone. Your small act of engagement becomes their answered prayer. If these words stirred your faith, leave a comment below. Let your spirit speak. Write what resonated, declare what you're claiming, or simply leave a word of gratitude. Every comment is a spark in the dark, a digital amen that keeps this flame alive. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and stay connected to this river of prophetic encouragement. This is not just a channel, it's a community of light bearers who refuse to let darkness have the final word. Together, we grow stronger, clearer, and braver. If your heart feels led, you may also donate to sustain this space where faith meets healing. Every seed, no matter how small, helps these messages reach farther, touch deeper, and continue to remind others that God still speaks. Carry this light forward. Let your engagement be your echo of faith, your way of saying, I was here, and I believe.